Somalians, they contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them the hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you demonize an entire demographic of people. This is not some YouTuber, a streamer on Stitch. This is the President of the United States, the most televised person on the planet, who has just used his worldwide platform to grab an entire people and call them trash, useless. Do you understand what this does to that entire demographic of people? Do you understand how people all around the world who have never met Somalians and never will now form a negative opinion, a negative expectation of an entire people? The millions upon millions of people in the United States that take Donald Trump's word as gospel, that will now view these people as garbage. And what happens when America views a people like garbage? Well, do you remember 9/11? And what happened after 9/11? The mass media was demonizing people that look Muslim. And as a result, Americans, usually white Americans, literally were targeting people that look like Muslims. A lot of times, they were not even Muslim. They were Indians, Hindus, and people of other regions that were being targeted in the streets, in public spaces. And all because of what? Because the American macro media chose to demonize an entire demographic of people because of the actions of one or two individuals. And this is not the first time that this president demonizes an entire people. They did the same thing to Haitians. Oh, the Haitians are coming here and eating people's pets. The Mexicans are coming here and raping our people, our children. Mexico's sending their trash. Venezuela is sending their trash. There are so many Somalians that are hardworking people. So many. But now it doesn't matter. Because thanks to the President of the United States, every last one of them now has to carry the reputation that they are garbage and useless and deserve to be deported. You know what's interesting about this administration? About Donald Trump, MAGA? That every people that are garbage, useless, and should be deported are always non-white people. Meanwhile, the same administration is going to South Africa and bringing over white people from South Africa. Because why? Because those white people in South Africa are being bullied. The white people of South Africa are literally colonizers who invaded and colonized South Africa, meaning that the original people of that land had to be oppressed and pushed away in order for the white people that arrived and invaded to be able to build their colony. In other words, these people can't be bullied because the minute that it's uncomfortable for them in a place that they've invaded, they could just go back home where they came from and fix their countries. There's something very interesting about what Donald Trump said. There is a pattern that I've been hearing my whole life that racist white people say. In this particular case, Trump said what? Why don't these people go back to the shithole countries they come from and fix their countries instead of coming here to our countries and ruining them? You know what's interesting about that? That white people are literally in South Africa in Australia, in New Zealand, in Hawaii, in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, in the Americas. Because you didn't want to fix your countries in Europe. So you fled and came out here to invade our homelands. That is the level of gaslighting that white people do. How are you the descendants of Europe who literally refuse to fix your countries? So then you go invade other people's homelands. You create your colonies. You oppress the indigenous people of those homelands. And then you got the caucasity to tell them, why don't you fix your shithole countries instead of coming over here and ruining ours? When the President of the United States, the most televised person on the planet, uses his platform to demonize an entire demographic of people, the damages are irreparable and irreversible. Somalians, Haitians, Mexicans, Venezuelans, they're always now going to carry a very marginalized, rather demonized, villainized stereotype on them. No matter if they're doctors, teachers, surgeons, lawyers, it doesn't matter. By default, society is going to view them in the way that they have now been demonized by the President of the United States. You cannot reverse and repair the damages done to the people that have just been marginalized by the President of the United States of America. All of these people now have to go out of their way to prove that they are not criminals, rapists, garbage, etc. They have to prove it. White people never have to prove that they're good. By default, they are considered good by society because the mass media that is dominated and controlled by white people uses their media to portray white people as good and all sorts of positive characteristics. Therefore, the expectations of white people is always positive. They have not been demonized. They don't have to go out of their way to prove that they're good. They are deemed good by default. Everybody else, black people, have to prove that they're good, that they're not thieves, criminals. Every other people that is not white has to prove that we are good because by default, we are expected to be bad. And these are the damages that are irreparable and irreversible because the President of the United States chose to demonize an entire demographic of people.